only come in because they are related to the question of whether NNPC is returning to the Federation all the amount it is constitutionally and legally required to return. So if I may just briefly, and again my presentation, hopefully when you have a session where we have detailed presentations, I can go into the details of that presentation. It's a 20-page presentation. I have 30 pages, 30 appendices there. But let us, Mr. Chairman, first of all agree on what has been paid into the central bank. NNPC did a presentation. We've all agreed anyway that $14 billion out of the $67 billion they shipped came into the dollar account of the Federation. That is agreed. We have looked at FIRS numbers, and we have confirmed that 16 billion paid by international oil companies to the FIRS account. This is where the confusion starts. It was not paid by NNPC, paid by IOCs, was the proceeds of crude lifted in the name of NNPC, but sold on behalf of FIRS. That's 16 billion, which FIRS has confirmed, Central Bank has accepted. There is a $1.6 billion that DPR also received from IOCs, which was part of that crude, which Central Bank has accepted. And we have provided evidence that in the Naira crude, out of the $28 billion domestic crude shipped by NNPC, NNPC has repatriated $16 billion. Okay, so we have accounted at least money that has come into the central bank out of the $67 billion is $47 billion. So let us first of all make it clear that out of $67 billion NNPC shipped, $47 billion has been repatriated to the central bank. Now what we're talking about is the balance of the 20 billion and what explanations have been given. NNPC has said some of it does not belong to the Federation. So $6 billion MPDC. We have held the position that some of the crude shipped by MPDC is shipped from oil wells that belong to the Federation. JVs that Shell went out of, which NNPC took over and handed over to MPDC, which then handed over to two Nigerian companies, Atlantic Energy and Seven Energy, and transferred revenue that should come to the Federation to private hands. And I have given 3 legal opinions to this committee on the unconstitutionality and illegality of that transaction. Secondly, NNPC has explained that 80% of the money they have not repatriated came on kerosene and fuel subsidy. I have submitted to this committee written evidence of a presidential directive eliminating subsidy since 2009, and NNPC needs to provide its authority for buying kerosene at 150 naira from the Federation account and selling at 40 naira and inflicting that loss on the Federation. NNPC has also said there is money that was PMS subsidy. I hear that reconciling with PPRA, but for us in the central bank, every month NNPC sends returns for FAC, and every month NNPC indicates how much it has deducted as PMS subsidy. From April 2012 to date, NNPC has submitted returns consistently showing it is deducting nothing before FAC from PMS. So we are surprised that having submitted nil returns since April 2012, we are now being told that in fact deductions were being made. Now, I don't know whether they were made or whether PPRA has approved them, and we will await the reconciliation with PPPRA. The other points about third-party financing, operating expenses, which were not appropriated, we have not seen any documentation or any proof. So all that we have said as central bank, and I think there is no disagreement, is that NNPC shipped $67 billion worth of crude. They have repatriated, or we have established that $47 billion has come back to the Federation. There is a $20 billion that has not come back. The burden of proof is on NNPC. But we have made suggestions that we question some of those explanations, And we believe that even some of that which has gone to NPDC does not belong to NPDC, but to the Federation. We're ready to discuss this further when the committee has examined our reports and all the documents and legal opinions. But I think all these matters are related.
Well, thank you. First of all, there is nothing new here. There is nothing new here. The reconciliation PPRA certification on the subsidy issue is central, is critical. That will tell us where the true position on subsidy deduction or non-deduction is. But I would like to also observe that I know for sure every year in the revenue framework, the National Assembly appropriates money for subsidy. So whether NNPC deducted it or did not deduct it on time, that's not an indication that there is no money appropriated for subsidy on PMS. So I'm just, we'll get to all of that later. So there is for them to make their own presentation at any particular time and defend it. But certain things that need to be said here can be said. You've raised the issue of some of the revenue due to supposedly NPDC ought to have come to the Federation account. If it is so, we have to establish that it is so and also how much. We can't not also say the gross is also money that should come to Federation. So you can't also put it in a gross issue. That it appears that maybe what has been done in your presentation grossing it. But if you say sum, you need to calculate how much is that sum. I have not seen the calculation of that sum, but we'll get to that, at the appropriate time. It appears to me that given you have agreed, having listened to them that they are ready on the subsidy to reconcile further, to have a figure, you wait until that to have a final position from your own perspective. You don't have to agree with them, of course. Remember, at the first meeting, I said that I don't expect all of you to agree. And you said you will agree. I don't expect all of you to agree. I don't expect that we too are likely going to agree with you. I hope we do. But that is what we are doing, to see where we agree and where we don't agree, and how to resolve the areas we don't agree. The bottom line is that the Federation should not lose 1 cent. Every cent due to the Federation should be properly accounted for. That is the bottom line, and that is where we're heading. Dr. Bright, as a matter of emphasis, their reconciliation of aspect, because it is key to accounting for substantial part of the balance of the money to be accounted for, must be concluded within this week to enable you make the report to us, for us to fully take each and every one of you fully, exhaustively next week. That is what, this one is not compromisable. I'm just saying that as a matter of clarity, because it is central to accounting for substantial part of the balance in question. Other matters we'll deal with. I don't know if members have any other thing to contribute. Otherwise, yes.
Just have one question, and why I'll go to this question. Mr. Chairman, you could remember, I think it was 2 committees ago, and I think the Honorable Minister of Finance was here. And I did ask when we were doing the budget, I think we were discussing excess crude account.